Welcome everybody to this new moon live, new moon in Libra that we're celebrating this lunar cycle in conjuncture with the fall equinox, and I'm very excited to be guided tonight and to introduce to all of you Jennifer Roy, who has been one of my students and who is a priestess unto herself, who will be introducing her work around somatic healing and guiding us into a way to celebrate this new moon with some of these somatic healing practices that she shares with some of her clients. And so I'll just go ahead and invite Jennifer to join us. And I'm live here on Instagram and Facebook at the same time. So just bear with me as I invite Jennifer.
Hello.
Welcome, Sarah. Thank you so much for accepting this invitation to celebrate the new moon with us. I think we're having some technical difficulty. Okay,
Give
you're
me
back.
1 second.
Okay, we're
All
having
right,
someone.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
I
I
can
just got it.
hear myself and
Okay. There. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Good. There seems to be
Okay,
a tiny bit of delay on my phone end of it, but hopefully it'll stick with us.
I think on my end it looks fine, so we're gonna go forward with this. And welcome to whoever is watching us. We have 4 viewers right now. We're gonna be answering questions too, hopefully towards the end of our talk. I just wanted to introduce this theme today, which we were both inspired to co-create around the theme of the Libra representing this balance, and also the fall equinox representing this balance, this equilibrium between the night and the day, which is actually what equinox mean, equal night. So the night and day are of equal length, and that is showing us to represent the light of consciousness and the darkness of the unconscious, weaving together, which creates a lot of transformation. And the light is the dark, and the darkness, as we know, is also symbolic of the feminine masculine, which is very dear to both our work because we're both working to reclaim the feminine. I think, Jen, you're freezing a little bit, but you're back. Okay, I hope I'm not freezing on my end too. And so we were feeling to, and I know you're going to introduce that symbology yourself, but we were exploring this idea of weaving consciousness through bringing consciousness into the body, which typically is seen as feminine, and the masculine of consciousness is the consciousness is seen as masculine, and the feminine is being the body. And so we're bringing them together when we bring consciousness into the body. And this is very much what somatic healing is. And as you'll describe, this inherently creates a lot of transformation and a lot of potential for healing for people as soon as we place our awareness in the body. So I wanted to invite you to introduce a little bit about your work and how you view this theme of reclaiming the feminine by doing somatic work. And I hope that we can hear you okay, because on my end you're lagging a little bit. You're freezing. Is your internet connection okay, or is it on my end? It's okay? Okay.
No, it seems to be on my end. Give me 1 second. I'm going to move out to my living room because there's better connection there. I was just hoping to be able to use this space because it's completely uninterrupted, but give me 1 moment. I'll just move out into the living room and this should not be a problem anymore. Give me just 1 second.
So I'm just going to pull out my notes as you do that, and I'm going to see. a few more points that I wanted to share with all of you because I love this sort of information. I love working with archetypes, and I, as a psychotherapist, I love to explore how we can heal our psyche as our soul, and the body, of course, is a mirror of that healing that we can do for ourselves. Um, so I was doing a bit of research, and what we find, and I find that's really key to understanding somatic healing. We can go into the science of it and the parasympathetic system and how it can allow us to really go deep into trauma that is stuck in our body. But very much what for me struck me, and then I got this confirmation in the research that I was doing, is that as soon as we bring awareness into the body, we're basically becoming present. And we hear that so much nowadays, how important it is to be present, and here instantaneously with somatic work, as soon as we bring awareness into the body, we're becoming present. And presence is really what life is about, right? Is where we get all the magic of life. And as soon as we open ourselves to the body and to presence through the body, we access a huge amount of information, of intuition, of messages that can come through. And I want to say of magic, because this is really where transformation can happen. So anyway, I'm geeking out a little bit. I'm just like getting really excited about the potential and yet the simplicity of this work. So Jen, if you're settled now with good connection, maybe you can introduce some of your witchcraft.
Right, thank you so much. Thank you, Karen, for everybody who's on with us today. So the work that I do is very somatic work. So really just kind of moving energy through the body to be able to release. So like the repressed emotions, the shadow aspects of ourselves that we're suppressing inside of ourselves that we're afraid to kind of show anyone, and like any trauma that's stored in the body, and like all the unmet needs that we've had, they kind of get stored inside the body. And so my work just through breath and feeling into the different sensations in the body, it just kind of brings the breath in, opens up these areas that are holding inside of your body, holding these emotions, and it opens it up. And then when we bring our awareness and our breath into these feeling or into these emotions, and we allow ourselves to actually face and those emotions, the deeper we can allow ourselves to feel into the emotion, even allow it to expand, so we really get into like the depth of what we are trying to push away, what we're trying to run away from feeling because it doesn't feel safe in our body, or it feels very uncomfortable, so it's easier to run away and distract yourself with something else. When you actually come in and you start feeling it, that's when it begins to kind of open up and soften. And so this is like very much like nervous system work, really, because it's when the body is in a trauma response, or like when you're triggered, your fight and flight is activated, or your freeze, and like old coping mechanisms basically from your past that you used when you were younger or vulnerable, and you were kind of in this space of having to operate a certain way, I guess, in order for your survival, in order for approval or love and affection. You develop these coping mechanisms, and they get imprinted in on the nervous system. And so when we're triggered, it puts us in, like, it almost like hijacks our maturity and higher thought and ability to respond to the situation in that moment, in an actual true representation of, you know, who you are and what that moment is bringing up for you. And it's like this little inner child shows up and kind of like paralyzes the adult version of yourself, right? And so working with the nervous system is really such a matter of coming in and feeling the that fear or that unsafeness that's happening, and that discomfort that's happening in your body. And the more you can be with that, and the more that you can notice the different patterns that show up for you, and the freeze or fight, flight, freeze, fawning patterns that you seem that your body goes into in its protective mechanism in different moments where you're triggered, whether it's in conversation or whether it's something that you're witnessing, or whether it's you wanting to like if you have a specific goal and you kind of get into that place where you're like self-sabotaging, or you're feeling afraid to take the next steps forward, a lot of times it's like your nervous system is like putting you into that freeze or into that fight and flight mechanism, and so you're having a hard time expanding into the fullness of where you're wanting to go. And so when we're coming into, which is the feminine, your body, into this nervous system work and feeling what's going on, you can begin to bring safety into your body, and you can begin to soften the resistance that's there. And you do that from not intellectualizing and problem solving and fixing and analyzing what's going on, but actually coming in and feeling what's uncomfortable and allowing that feeling to be okay, that it's there, and allowing yourself, your body, to actually express through you what that feeling is. So whether that's anxiety that you're feeling and just being with that and feeling the sensations of that, or whether that's your body feeling like it needs to like shake it out, move in a certain way, or like clenching your fist, or crying, laughing, screaming, and yawning. They're all different ways the body is naturally and innately built to release these energies, but you have to be willing to go in and actually feel it. So when I'm in one-on-one sessions, I actually take the clients through like a little body journey, basically, and we are moving through breath into these different areas within the body, the holding areas, and we're just breathing into these spaces. And as they begin to unlock what's there, the body will naturally release. And so a lot of times my sessions will bring a lot of releasing through crying, and sometimes there's some laughing and whatever's kind of going on, but it's a very in-body experience. So past clients have described it as therapy work, except for instead of being in the mind telling what's going on, everything is going through the body, and it's very insightful because underneath it is so much like, wisdom, body wisdom, and insights into what was actually going on. And a lot of times clients will find themselves too, like we're talking about present day, what's not working for them. And as we go through this journey, all of a sudden they're like, in their 5-year-old body or 3-year-old body, and there's something going on here that we're then unlocking and releasing. And then from that place they get like this big like insights and aha moments. And I've never told this to anybody, and I never thought, like, I thought I was maybe crazy, but this really did happen. Well, these are the things that the body knows that mind wants to like protect you from, or want to create stories around. So the mind is like the masculine, and like the more you're doing this work, the more the feminine is able to open, and the more you're able to move into and trust that feminine aspect of your being in your body, and feeling different feelings, and being with emotions, and being with yourself in absolute holding space for yourself, and and loving space with yourself, not oh, why am I feeling this again, and I should be feeling differently. It's no, I'm just holding space for this is what's here now, and I'm feeling it and allowing it just to open up. And in that space, you're honoring yourself, the moment, the truth, and the difficulty of that truth, or the joy of that truth, whatever is coming through. And it's a way of like opening to life versus closing and resisting and running away from. And so the more we can feel, the more we can also open to feel all the other ranges of what life has to offer.
I think also for me, it's the healthy masculine that is able to hold space and witness, right? Because the Shiva consciousness, like the pure consciousness, is non-judgmental. It's non-critical. It's just this loving presence, actually. So what we're used to is this overly active mind that is analyzing everything and judging everything, trying to solve. Like that's actually the hyperactive masculine that is trying hard. So I think here we can reclaim the masculine as the container for this healing work to happen, within which all this energy is going to move through the emotions and through the body, and just all this life force that you described that is suddenly unleashed. So I also wanted to address that, because I don't want to demonize the masculine. Obviously they can, when healing, feminine and masculine works together, and I think this work is a beautiful way to really see that.
Yes, I was going to speak to that too. So thank you. That's so amazing, because what I've found, the more that I'm able to feel into moment by moment what's going on. So it's a lot of body awareness as well, and noticing these different patterns. The more that I am developing that relationship with my feminine aspect of myself, the more I'm finding as well, like the more that I'm trusting it, the more I'm finding also that my masculine side of me is like the mind side is developing and maturing as well, which is exactly what you said, the consciousness
Mm-hmm.
being very supportive. So like when your inner critic is always putting you down or self-doubting and whatever, that's like that for me is still very kind of the masculine coming in and not supporting the feminine. And so the feminine needs that supportive container of the masculine, like you said. And anytime your mind starts telling you that you're not good enough and you can't do this and you should be doing differently or feeling differently and all these like negative aspects, that brings a sense of feeling unsafe for the feminine to actually express those emotions, and so she locks them in instead. So the more supportive the masculine, like so the mind part of you can support holding the space for the feminine to be okay to express,
Mm.
she can lean into that and feel as well. So I find that they work together. So like when they're both kind of in the wounded side, they seem to like trigger each other, and it just kind of spirals down into like a really dark place. But when they're working together from that healthy, mature space, they actually, it's very kind of upward and very beautiful container of
Mm-hmm.
expansion and growth. Because yeah, they work
Mm-hmm.
together very like it's just two mature energies working together to create expansive um,
Mm.
or expansions into like higher transformations for yourself as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we have Jody here, who joined us. Hi, Jody. She said, yes, the mind is not only masculine. I think that's so interesting, because we tend to think of the mind as masculine compared to the body as feminine. But it's true that if you think of the mind, especially when you study psychology, there's so much unconscious stuff, right? It's like what, 85% is unconscious. And so that's the shadow, which is the chaotic feminine, where we hold all our patterns. So I want to say, like, the mind is actually almost more feminine in this way. We don't have actually, for me, the what is really masculine is the consciousness. We don't have access. We're not conscious of
Yes.
all of that unconscious or subconscious mind. So there's a lot more that is influencing us that we're able to know. And so I think somatic work is a way to dive into this realm of the mystery of what else is inside of us that is
Yeah.
actually really guiding us every day without us knowing. So it's a way to weave really this realm of the unconscious and the conscious, and to get to know ourselves more in this way.
Yeah, I find too, like it's almost like there's a higher mind and there's like the lower mind, the survival mind. And survival mind is like connected by your spine all the way down, right? And so there's the nerve endings, the nervous system that kind of moves through or whatever. And that's kind of where the fight and flight kind of comes in. So for me, that's within the body. And that's how like the lower mind part comes in. It's the subconscious, and those patterns are locked in our body. So that's kind of how
Mm-hmm.
view it. So there's like the higher mind, which for me is kind of the masculine, the consciousness of that higher consciousness, or there's kind of the lower ones, and the lower part directly being connected to the nervous system through the spine and the vagus
Yeah.
nerve. So yeah, but it's a good point. The masculine is not only just the mind in its wholeness, it is a consciousness for sure.
Yeah. Um, Sorry, I had another comment, but now I forgot, because I'm just reading Jody's comments. I wonder if anyone watching has any questions for Jennifer. Feel free to share. I'm just really excited at the idea of a lot more people doing this work and what us healing ourselves can really do for ourselves. And I wonder if you have any stories, without maybe sharing any details, examples that you've seen, and the ways that people have changed with your sessions.
So what I find a lot in my session is that when I'm guiding women into their bodies and we're exploring, as soon as I make an inquiry as to, um, like once they've like, okay, this is what I'm feeling, and so when I make an inquiry as to, so um, uh, but even if I'm asking, so what are you feeling here? They're going into their mind looking for the answer. And if I invite them to come into the body and just allow the breath to take them there, allow the body to open and reveal it, and that there's no hurry, no rush, and no right and wrong, like to touch so much deeper. And if I inquiry as to when did you, like when in your past have you felt like this, or when was the first time you remember, like using this kind of inquiry to kind of go deeper with it. Again, it's a lot of having to remind them to come into the body and allow the body to reveal it versus coming in. And you can kind of feel the difference in the energy that kind of takes place. And so it's just a gentle reminder. Don't go into your mind to look for it. Just come into the body. And they always do. Like it always um, like unravels, and from this unraveling they have such like deep insight never even had, like the mind had never thought for them, even if they were kind of doing whatever, analyzing, trying to figure out what's going on, or trying to fix the situation, or trying to find the next best step forward. um, they the mind almost kind of got in the way of that, because it's kind of like circulating in this little loop. Whereas once it kind of came in, like such a big like space was created, and this like intuitive knowing just kind of came out of nowhere from them on such a deep
Mm-hmm.
level. So it's hard to explain, but what I am finding a lot is just the ability to stay and um, be with what is available from the body is it's very quickly for women to go back into their mind and wanting to find the answers. But when you give them the
Mm-hmm.
space and time and the patience to just kind of unravel with it and feel into it, and understand this different part of themselves, it's very profound, like the healing that they're experiencing. And um, like most times after like one session, one or two sessions, they've already kind of unraveled what they came for initially, which is usually like a big, these are all the things. Because I always send out this questionnaire first before I'm working with someone, and they're kind of answering different questions so that I can kind of feel into what's there, like the energetics behind it. And so it always is like, one area, but it's underneath it is so much to unpack. But just going through the body, they're able to unpack it a lot quicker. And I am never telling them this is what you should, or I'm not even suggesting, like it's totally just me guiding them through the body, and they are receiving all of it themselves. And then they go on to be able to create new ways of moving in their life. And I have, women, oh my goodness, the conversation around my kitchen table this morning was so different, and it was just transformational. And she's like crying, sharing, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it was just, and it was like in regards to relationship that she was working through. And she just had these like this old lens basically of viewing her whole life through, that had a lot of like even like a lot of shame around it, because a lot of religious kind of backgrounding that was kind of intertwined in that. And again, I'm never there to like judge what's right or wrong. What is your life story? I'm not even, but they kind of come to their own. I'm not a bad person. This is okay. This is who I am.
Mm.
Always who I was. And there's a part of me that always knew that, but I was scared
Mm-hmm.
give myself permission to be okay in that, because I was taught differently. And so she opens up and she totally starts expressing from this, new self knowledge and new self trust. And it's not new self knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
because she had it. She had the feeling, she had knowing, but she
Mm-hmm.
trusted. It wasn't validated around her. And so it just gives so much freedom and so much openness for her to start moving in a different way. So that was one, beautiful example. And yeah, so
I
they're
love that.
kind of transformations that I'm witness it. It's amazing to witness somebody just find that permission and freedom to like say, yes, this is who I
For
am.
sure.
Yes, I
Yeah,
do it. Trust it. Yeah.
yeah, working with women for many years, this is the number one issue that I notice is that we don't allow ourselves to be ourselves. We don't give ourselves permission to be us. We don't validate who we are. And yeah, we're just there's another word that came through now. I can't remember. It's this acceptance, just this acceptance of who we are and that part of us that knows that has always been there. And I
Yeah.
often see the feminine as this triangle pointing down, which for me is the chalice, actually. It's like this lotus as well, that is directly connecting to truth that comes from above and this kind of higher wisdom that is readily available when we're open in that state of surrender. That is the feminine, and that sensitivity of the feminine as well. That is the deep part of us that knows. And the masculine is pointing down. It's more the knowledge, and here we come again with the mind that is accumulated over time, that builds up experience, and that eventually also leads to wisdom, but over time and repeated actions and discovery. And so I love that opening to feminine wisdom. It's so real, and we have it all, whether we're masculine or feminine. But women, I think, are generally more sensitive, and as a result of this gift of sensitivity, they have even more access more they have access to this wisdom even more readily because of that sensitivity. But because they're living in a world where they feel like they need to protect themselves all the time, because it's definitely not safe to be sensitive all the time, especially as a child. We just learn to build so many layers of it, to the point, just like you described, that it's hard for us sometimes to actually feel and to describe what we're feeling instead of describing from the mind. And so I
Yeah.
love this work that you're doing to reconnect women with this gift through their body, which I think is such an inherent power that we all have.
Yeah. Yes. I also wanted to say, just like you said, the feminine, the downward, and then the masculine, the upward. I do feel like there's like just like our energies and balance is kind of working together. So there's still a working of both. But what I've felt and found, just like you said, is that we're more inherently to the feminine, and that's the part of us that's really being shut down. So as you open that, there's just more. Um, like for me, there's just been more space to kind of integrate the two, whereas before all I was doing was all kind of like descending and the, you know, journal prompts and whatever, which all have valid and they all serve a purpose. But I found I could only go so far with it, and I still was in
Mm-hmm.
patterns and locked in a pattern. I couldn't go beyond it, and it meant like once I came into my body, it totally just opened up, and it was like such a freedom. Like that's when I found my voice for the first time. I felt safe to actually express through toning and voicing, and over time, I started becoming safe to actually stand up for myself, and actually in situations that were off like balance and power dynamics, I was able to finally say, no, this is not okay. Whereas before I was always just kind of, you know, quiet and like taking, like shutting down and freezing and fawning basically. And once I found this body work, that's when I was like, no, this is not okay. It was the first time I was able to actually step out and say no. Like intellectually, I knew this is not
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't, like my body was so locked in
Mm-hmm.
that fight, freeze, like nervous system lockdown, that it took coming into my body to soften that and to rewire that. So that's why I find this so powerful and so important for myself, you know, in particular, and I feel for so many women, is because
Mm-hmm.
for me that was like the missing piece to go beyond the the very deep core of my nervous system locks and patterns.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I had to go in my journey to actually unlock that for myself, which
I
is,
love that.
yeah.
I love that example of standing up for yourself
Yeah.
and how you felt safer in general in your body, and so you could do that in the world. And I think that's such a beautiful example of how this body healing that we think is in the body actually affects our the way we connect to ourselves, we think about ourselves, and the way we show up for ourselves and in the world, and affects our behavior in the long term. Um, I wanted to slowly move into the practice, unless you have
No, this
last thoughts. Chicken good. Okay, and I wanted to start introducing your yes. Mm-hmm.
I one last quick thought, and it's just my own exploration. I just wanted to like, I would love even what you think and what anybody else maybe think on this. I'm just starting to explore because you know how the very sensitive, we're like, it's not safe for us. And yes, there's definitely an aspect of that. But what I'm kind of exploring a little bit too is whether it's a matter of it's not safe when we didn't know how to be in our sensitivity and like know how to trust that and know how to work with that
Mm,
more than I'm kind of learning how to work because I'm still sensitive. Like my
mm-hmm,
body's very quick trigger reaction, if you will. Uh, but now that I have, like, the more that I'm working with it, the more it's able to kind of like open a little bit more and open a little bit more and feel, even if it doesn't feel safe in that moment, I can like just kind of lean into it and be like, it's okay. And then it opens back up. Whereas before I couldn't have that opening. So there,
mm-hmm,
it just feels like there's like this, there is a sense of being able to be a little more safe because I'm understanding how to work with this gift of
mm-hmm,
sensitivity. Just, yeah, sometimes I hear it's not safe, and I think that's right in a sense, but sometimes I also don't want people to go into that empathetic.
mm-hmm. It feels not safe in the moment because we're not trained to cope
Yeah, and
with the
so
emotions and everything that we're
and
feeling in this moment.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's just a little bit, there's just like a little shift in it. Just like I know a lot like with empath and for myself initially too, it's not safe where I take on everybody else's, and sometimes that's really a matter of kind of boundaries and like energetic boundaries as well, and very much about understanding how your sensitivity works and understanding how you work as a being and understanding how your energy, and then in that way you're able to kind of move it a little bit differently. That
Mm-hmm.
creates, we're able to kind of create that safety anyway a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
exploring that a little bit. And I just kind of wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
what are your thoughts on that? And
Yeah,
also,
definitely. And at the same time, lately, I've been really kind of moving away from all the spiritual stuff into the more practical things, you know. And I'm just noticing, because I'm in Switzerland right now, and things are very different here. They're very dense energetically, but also they're just very pragmatic in the way that things are running very, very well, you know, in society, and people are really following what the instructions are to function very well in the society. Jody's feeling you. Yeah, I'm very much feeling that right now. And so there's the energetic boundaries, there's the awareness, and all these are great theories and practices that we can do. And sometimes as well, we just need to move away from a situation and move away from a
yeah,
person. Just noticing that there's no kind of
yeah,
awareness. It's not us, because that's what my psychotherapist always said. You know, you always kind of think you're always doing too much shadow work. Sometimes it's not about you. Like sometimes it's really about the situation. Like you just need to actually take actions to change. That
yeah.
is the transformation that wants to happen. So I just wanted to bring
That's,
my insights on that.
yeah, I think you'll find that there's a very fine line balancing. It's a lot of just discernment and a lot of just knowing and understanding your own working as well. That when is a change asked for and when is it change within yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a good balance between the feminine and masculine, which is, in general, the feminine would be more the internal world, and the actions, and the external world would be the masculine. And so
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, thank you for that last point. That's really, really juicy stuff. And I know for sure you and I could talk about this for a
Yes.
long time. But I really want our sisters and whoever else is watching tonight and wanting to connect to this practice of somatic healing and experience that um, to have that chance. And I think for me in this season, because I've been researching the fall equinox and what people are saying about this new moon in Libra, and it's definitely a time to start new projects and move in a new direction. And I think we've done a lot of shadow work, a lot of clearing in the past few months astrologically, and I definitely felt that for myself. And so now I think with this practice is really an opportunity to use this body wisdom and awareness to guide us towards then what feels good and what we want. And this is, I think, what you wanted to offer tonight through this practice.
Yes. Yes. So I was gonna invite us all into just a little grounding meditation. So I'll just kind of quickly share what we'll be doing so that everybody can be in the space of I trust this process, I understand where we're going, so that I can invite you into your body to really feeling. The more that you're feeling into, the more you're gonna experience from this. So I'll just guide you through a little grounding meditation, and then I'll bring you into your heart space. And in the heart space, we'll simply just ask to bring forth for your heart to bring forth something that's sitting a little heavy on you, that your body is ready to release, so that you can let go as you move into the winter and into this next season with more space and to rejuvenation and leave behind what no longer is needed. So we're going to bring that up, and then from here we're going to just move it down through your body and just offer it into the earth. And then I'm going to take you through a hip articulation, which is just ever so slight movements with our hips that feels a little bit juicy. And it's just a way for us to kind of invite in this juicy energy that we want to bring into this new season of the winter, the stillness that we're coming into. This is a beautiful practice you can do on your own as well, just to just to bring some nourishing and playful energy into your space and into your body. And what I also wanted to say is that when we're moving with our hips, we are going to be working with the psoas muscle, which also is also known as the muscle of the soul, and it's connected to our nervous system through the spine and through the psoas. And so it is an emotional center, and it is where we kind of dump all the unexpressed emotions down into our pelvic bowl. And so if anything comes up for you, I just invite you just to come into your breath and just do long, deep breath. And you can kind of move out of the articulations, the hip articulations, the movements, and you can just breathe here. Long, deep breath will just kind of help you self-regulate. And if you feel safe to play around in the hips again, we won't do it too long anyway. It'll just kind of be a taste for what's available. You can just come back in, and if you're like, no, this is where I need to be, you just fully honor yourself where you're at. And I'm available in my DM today if you need help guiding you through self-regulation. Now, I'm not anticipating this big trigger. I just want to give you the tools if it becomes a thing, because when we're working with our hips, there's lots of stuff kind of stored there. So I'm just going to very quickly move down onto the floor here, and I'm just going to show you what it's going to look like, and then I will guide you, so don't worry about it. So what we're going
And
to be
this is going to
doing,
be about 10 minutes, just so people know the timing.
right? So what I'm going to do is we're just going to be doing little hip rocks, and I will guide you through that. And there's not much to them, but it kind of feels very juicy when you're just kind of bringing slow motion to it, and you're just feeling into the sensations and feeling into your body moving you. And then from here, we're going to go to a bridge, and just bringing our arms out into a bridge. And from the bridge, we're going to just we're going to be doing these little spinal dips. And I will guide you through how to do this as well. And it feels incredibly delicious. So I will invite everybody to lay down. I'll just give you a moment to lay down, and then I'll take you through. So now you understand where we're going with this. And I will guide you through. So no worries. So if you're laying down, I will take you through the grounding first before we begin with the hip articulation. So if you just close your eyes, And just lay down, allowing your body to become completely comfortable. And you can place your hands wherever feels comfortable, either on your body or along your side. Connecting with your breath, moving in and out of your body. You're not changing your breath, you're just connecting for a moment. Good. I invite you just to allow the inhales to become a little bit deeper, a little bit longer. And then you can open your mouth and you can sigh as you exhale. That's a way of breaking up energy as well. So, and then you can begin to lengthen your exhales as well. We're just bringing a sense of calm and stillness into your body through your breath. Staying with your breath inside of your body. Extending your inhales and your exhales. Just allow your head to begin to relax with each exhale. Your jaw begins to relax with each exhale. Your tongue relaxes. Your neck and shoulders relax and become soft. Allowing your chest to open and soften. Bring your breath into your belly, allowing your belly to soften and expand. Just deepen your breath into your belly, letting go completely. And when you feel like you've let go completely in your belly, just see if there's just a little more you can relax and soften so your belly becomes jelly. Bring your breath into your womb. Inhales and exhales into your womb space. Bring your breath down to your pussy, allowing the vulva lips to spread out and pull down into the earth to ground you. Bring your breath all the way down, down, down into the earth. Good. And I invite you to bring your breath into your heart. And in your heart, you're just going to keep breathing here. And we're just going to ask your heart to show you, is there an emotion here that is ready to come up and be released? Now you're just staying in your breath and you're just breathing into your heart and you're just allowing your body to open and show you. You're not going to your mind looking for the emotion. You're just staying, breathing in your heart. And if nothing's showing, that's totally fine. Just be with that as well. Just keep breathing into the feelings showing up in your heart. Asking what is ready to be released. When you feel like you can touch an emotion here, just breathe into that emotion. The emotion that's ready to be released, just breathe in. Keep breathing, using your breath to open up into this emotion. Allow it to expand, become bigger in your heart space. You can really feel it. And if there's any releasing that's coming up, as in your body wanting to move a certain way to help release, just go ahead and let your body express as this emotion as it moves it out of your body. So maybe you're wanting to make just gentle little circles with your breast and your chest. Or maybe you want your arms, or you're wanting to move a little bit. Just give yourself permission to breathe with this emotion. And maybe nothing wants to move, and that's okay too. Keep breathing with and feeling the emotion, allowing it to just be here. Ah. You can use audible sound as well, maybe some groaning or sighing. Ah. These ways that your body expresses the emotions, the built up energy that's there. Releasing. I'm going to do another 2 breaths here. And then with your next breath, inhale, exhale, and send it down your spine, all the way down, 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 out through your pussy into the earth. And we're just going to allow it all to flow out. Allow the energy to flow out of you and be transmuted by the earth energy. Oh, with intention, with your energy and with your breath, just allowing it to move down your spine, down into the earth. Releasing, releasing, releasing. Oh. We'll just do another 3 intentional breaths here for releasing. Oh. Just noticing as your heart space begins to empty out and create new space here, new shift of energy showing up. And one more breath. From here, this is when I'm going to guide you into the hip articulations. This is where you're going to move into the juiciness that's available and cultivating this juicy energy inside of your body that we're going to use to alchemize this energy we just sent away and alchemize the body into what we're wanting to call in. So what I'm going to do, you're welcome to watch the screen. What I'm going to do is just invite you to lay with your knees bent. Make sure that your heels are like if you lay your arms down along your side and spread your fingers out, your fingers touching slightly your heels. And then from this place, you're going to take an inhale and open up your rib cage. And when you do, your tailbone is just going to fall into the ground. This tiny little lower back arch, just ever so slightly. And on your exhale, you're going to tuck your pelvic floor towards you and you're going to close your ribs. So it's just ever so slight little movements here. So opening with your breath, sending your tailbone into the ground. Exhale, closing your ribs, tucking in your pelvic bone. And so it's just very small, gentle movements here. And so you can just continue doing this flow with your breath ever so slowly, teeny little movements, and you're just going to feel sensations that's being built, just feeling into that.
Jen, are you able to lower your laptop screen just a tiny bit so we can see you on the laptop?
Yes, just 1 second. Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. Awesome. Thanks.
So again, just opening the breath, sending the tailbone into the ground. Exhale, tucking your pelvic floor towards you and closing your cage. Opening your rib cage with your inhale. Tucking the tailbone down. Exhale, closing back up, bringing the pelvic floor towards you. You're just using your breath to flow with the movement. Oh, so keeping your breath nice and long. And you can even use sound to move the energy, allowing yourself to feel the juiciness of the little movements that are being created in your body. Nice slow movements. Just notice if you can feel more, if you slow down compared to, yeah, just a more, like noticing if you can feel more when you're slowing down, playing with that for a little bit. Good. Now the next thing I'm going to invite you to, you're going to stay like you are. Make sure that your heels are close to your fingertips, just touching, brushing here. You're going to go a comfortable bridge, whatever feels comfortable for you. You don't have to be overextended. This is like a comfortable bridge. And from here, you're going to imagine the paintbrush on your bottom, and you're going to scoop down into the paint, and then you're going to tuck your pelvis floor, and then you're going to lift back into the bridge. So you're going to scoop paintbrush into the paint, and then you're going to tuck the pelvic floor and lift. And this is just a little delicious movement that can feel quite delicious, and you can do slower and you can speed it up a little bit, and just playing with speed here. And you can go higher and lower. You can even do this in a lower place, and you can move it up. And so again, using your breath with your inhales and your exhales. So inhale, come down, and you're going to dip the paintbrush. You're going to tuck your tailbone, your pelvis floor, pelvic floor. You're going to lift it. Dip, tuck, lift. Dip, tuck, lift. And then sync it with your breath. So at your own time, play with this a little bit. Exhaling as you're tucking and coming up. And then just come back down into a resting pose. So this is a beautiful articulation you can play around with on your own time. It gets to feel really, really delicious. But for right now, I invite you just to lay here and relax in stillness just for a moment. If it's more comfortable to have your legs straight, you're welcome to do so too. Place your hands on your body anywhere that feels comfortable and nourished. Breathing here. If it feels comfortable for you, I invite you just to bring your hands across your chest and bringing them down the side of your breast and down your side of your body. And we're just going to open the heart here. So just being with your breath, gently stroking and opening your heart here. Using your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Opening your, feeling the loving energy that's in your heart, allowing it to expand. Ah. Do one more time. Allowing the love to expand inside your heart and your body. In this last part of the ritual, I invite you just to imagine that we're all gathered together in a circle, We're all gathered in a circle and breathing love. We're going to send our love from our heart that we cultivated into the center of the circle. So on your inhale, gathering the love. On the exhale, send it out into the circle of our sisterhood circle. And we're going to change the love. So inhaling, receive the love of your sisters, and exhaling, sending love from your heart into the center and into the sister circle. So we're just going to do 3 breaths like this. Receive love, exhale, give love. Inhale and exhale. The last one, inhaling, receiving the love. Thank you for your love, sister. And exhale, I see you, love you, and I honor you. Thank you, sister. Good. And then just call your energy back to yourself, back into your heart. And you can just hold your heart with your hands. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for playing in this. Thank you for joining Clarity and myself in the talk today. And thank you so much for sharing your energy with us. Thank you. And when you're ready, move, brings the movement to your body. Maybe a nice stretch, a big hug. And then you can open your eyes and come to your side and sit up when you're ready. Thank you for
Yes,
allowing
thank
me
you.
to take you through that. And yeah, this is just kind of touching upon what's kind of available. It's very hard to share all of it, but I hope you received a little bit of juiciness from this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jen. It was really nice to get into the body and relax.
Yeah.
Pleasure with simple hip movements. Okay, yeah, you're here. I think my internet wasn't good for a second. Thank you so much, and I hope everyone really got a lot from. I'm sure everyone got something what they needed from this new moon ritual that you guided us into.
Bless you all, and yeah, thank you, and all the best in this new moon. And thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so glad that you found that beautiful and that you got something from this. Thank you.
Blessings to everyone who joined us. Blessings to you, sister. And if you feel like connecting to Jen, feel
Yeah.
free to connect to her.
You so.
Thank you again for all your magic and